Ted Daniels and Ed Oliver back at you with another Locked On Wizards podcast episode. The Wizards beat the Nets. They get a dub. It was a good game from a lot of different guys, but the three young guys specifically, Corey Kispert, Rui Hachimura, Deni Avdija, they all stepped up. They all had big impacts on the game. Rui Hachimura, 13 points in the fourth quarter alone, stepping up huge. I'm ready to get right into it. Let's do it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, guys? Delonte Daniels and Ed Oliver back at you guys with another Locked On Wizards podcast episode. I'm going to thank you all for making Locked On Wizards your first listen each and every day. We are free and available on all platforms. So, Ed, Wizards get the dub 117-103. What's your main takeaways? It was a lot to take away in this game, but what was your main one?
The young guys, the three young guys, they all stepped up. Deni, Rui, and Corey Kispert, they all stepped up and they played really well. I think as a whole, as a team, we played with energy. Other guys stepped up. Anthony Gill provided some huge minutes. He had huge threes in the fourth, two big threes in the fourth quarter. Ish Smith was huge too. Just having a point guard that pushes the pace has really, really made a big difference for the Washington Wizards. The pick and roll with Rui. Rui had a couple dunks, some nice finishes. Kispert and Rui had a nice pick and roll where Rui finished strong as well. Rui's been shooting the ball really, really well from the three-point line. But I would just say this, last night we gave up 74 points in the paint against the Indiana Pacers. And guess what? Against Andre Drummond, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, where they had multiple bigs, and Cam Thomas, who went crazy last night against the Knicks, we only gave up 28 points in the paint. So that's the that's just a huge, huge difference. We got some guys back. Rui came back tonight. Gafford came back tonight. We just had a couple guys just come back healthy. They just made a huge, huge difference down low in the paint. I thought Thomas Bryant played better as well, more energy. So just as a whole, we had 54 points in the paint to their 28. So that was huge. That's what really won the game. We moved the ball well. Ball movement was great. The ball didn't stick. Deni moved the ball. Corey Kispert moved the ball. Rui moved the ball. Kuzma had some wild passes, but he was still moving the ball as well. We had 26 assists tonight as well. And 15 turnovers is not great, but yeah, 26 assists to 15 turnovers. And we shot the ball well from the three-point line, 50% from the three, which is very unlike us. We were knocking down threes, 55% from the field. And we also had 7 guys in double figures. So this is what you call a team effort, just team basketball. Everybody eats type of stuff right there. That's how you win ball games. And we actually, I thought we played really well defensively. We got some deflections, some steals for a fast break. Deni had a coast-to-coast dunk on a fast break too. So I just love the effort from this team. They keep playing like that and keep it up, then they'll probably, win a couple games with this schedule coming up. I know it's going to mess up some of the lottery odds, but I love the development from these guys. The Rui, Kuz, and Deni lineup where they're all 6'9", 6'8", 6'10". I love that lineup. Corey Kispert, 6'6". He's playing well too. So I love what I saw from the guys going into the All-Star break. This is just something that they can definitely build on and get some momentum going.
Yeah, I think the young guys, that's my main takeaway too. They really impressed me today because Kyle Kuzma, he only took 7 shots. He only had 5 points. So compared to his other games, that's very low scoring for him. So other guys needed to step up. Corey Kispert, he had a good game against the Knicks, so maybe it's just a New York thing. He likes playing in that state. But 4 for 6 from 3, that's what you want to see consistently from him. You don't want to see 4 for 6, and then the next couple games you see 1 for 4, 2 for 6, etc. This is the type of shooting that the Wizards drafted him for these kind of games. And he stepped up big, 16 points. Really impressed with him. Deni Avdija, he had 2 steals. He was locking some guys up late. 13 points, 8 rebounds. Another good rebounding game from him. 2 assists. I was impressed with him as well. Another 30-minute performance from Deni. And Rui Hachimura taking over in that fourth quarter. 20 points, 2 for 2 from the 3. He continues to shoot the 3 ball well ever since coming back this season. rebounding, he only had 1 rebound. You may want him to, be a little bit more active on the boards. But other than that, Deni, Rui, and Corey Kispert, those are the 3 guys that a lot of Wizards fans and that we said we wanted to watch develop since Bradley Beal is out and Porzingis probably will be in and out of the lineup. We wanted to watch these 3 main guys development this season. And even though, I do want some good lottery odds, if the Wizards are winning games and they're winning it because Hachimura is having 13 in the fourth and Corey Kispert's 4 for 6 from 3 and Deni Avdija is getting clutch steals and locking guys up late, I can't really complain about it because these guys are developing. Our young guys are developing, so and I'll get into some other contributors like Ish Smith, Anthony Gill later in our next segment, but I definitely got to give the shout outs to Rui, Deni, and Corey Kispert, the 3 guys we're all looking at to develop as this season, goes into All-Star break, and they stepped up big.
Yeah, it was huge for Rui too. We know, he didn't play until halfway into the season because of personal reasons. A lot of people said it was, fatigue. He had a long summer with the Olympics and then, some personal reasons going on why he didn't come back until, the middle of the season. Looked like he was having fun out there. He was sticking his tongue out, had a couple dunks. I love how aggressive he was in the post. He posted up hard. He had Seth Curry, a smaller guy on him. He just went right up. That's what I want to see from Rui. Just not thinking too much, just being aggressive. And that's what we asked from Rui all along his career. I mean, 1 rebound is unacceptable, but he did other things, 20 points, shot the ball 15 times. Deni, once again, I think, sometimes he is, missing some layups and not finishing through contact. But we got to see him handle the ball a little bit more tonight. Now, Javon Carter had him one-on-one. He did get stripped on that one time. But there were some times where, he took Andre Drummond to the cup and finished with his left hand. There were times where he took the ball down, Cam Thomas stopped him, and he went right back out to the 3-point line. He knocked down a 3. So it just shows that, he's starting to get in his bag of tricks and get more comfortable, more confident out there. And that's how the Wizards are going to – we're only going to get better through our draft picks. Really, like I said in the last episode, talking with Troy, we're not going to land a big fish in free agency, so we got to develop our guys. That's the only way we're going to get better is by letting Deni, Rui, and Kispert play. So I love seeing this happen.
Yeah, and I think it's good for their confidence as well because you always hear about the Tyrese Halliburtons, the Desmond Baines,
even they brought up people were talking about Cam Thomas.
These guys are always, and then with Corey Kispert, they talk about guys like Desumu and other guys from his draft. It's it's big for these guys to play well for their own confidence as well. I'm sure of it. I'm sure they see their fellow draft companions playing really well, etc. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy they had this type of game and performance. It was a thumbs up, man. It was really progressive for their development, and it was key in this win tonight. But before we get into some other individuals and their game, we do have to get to a message from our friends over at BetOnline. Football might be over for this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fire coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds right to the Olympic coverage and information. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Also, once again, guys, I want to thank you all for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast, nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. So, Ed, we talked about the 3 young guys. Now, there were some other big contributors to this Wizards win. Who were some of the guys who stood out to you?
Ish Smith, man. This fourth quarter, and as a whole, as a team, the fourth quarter was huge. We put up 39 points, and they had the net. We held the Nets to 25. But Ish Smith, man, that mid-range game, it was virtually unstoppable. It really was, and he was really pushing the pace, getting guys open. And Ish Smith hit a couple of threes as well, which he's not known as a 3-point shooter. He only hit 1 3, but it was a big 3. He was 7 for 10 from the field. So he shot 70% from the field. Being a guy that's, only 6 feet tall, he's just pushing the pace. And we talked about this before too, no knock on Spencer Dinwiddie, but him just dribbling the air out of the basketball until the grenade shots, the grenade pass, we're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing a guy who's getting downhill, creating for other guys, getting open shots for other guys, and not only that, getting a shot for himself. And we needed a fourth quarter closer. We just need a table setter, somebody that can create a shot for himself. Like Ish Smith was able to do that. Anthony Gill, basically a 15th man for the most of the year. He's getting more playing time, and it's a tough decision by West to play him over Thomas Bryant, to play him over Daniel Gafford, a guy that you just gave a 3-year, $40 million extension. That's a tough decision to make. And sometimes you just got to go with the hot hand. That's what it is. When Porzingis gets back, I don't know if Anthony Gill is going to still get a lot of minutes. That's a question to be had. Thomas Bryant too is going to get a little muffled with the big man position once again. Mm-hmm. But Anthony Gill, man, 4 for 7 from the field, 2 for 2 from the 3-point line, 12 points, 3 assists. And he had a big block down the stretch too on Bruce Bowen or Bruce Brown, a +7 on the court too. So I mean, Deni was a +7 as well. Denny's always a positive number in the plus minus. Rui was a +5, but man, Anthony Gill, for a guy who is on a very team-friendly contract and a guy who was just overseas 2 years ago, who's not expected to start or get big minutes, he's playing good ball.
Yeah, I think Anthony Gill, he was impressive. The 12 points, the 2 threes, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. It's good to have him getting minutes and to take advantage of the minutes that he is getting, because who knows the next time he'll be able to get 19, 20 minutes consistently, but every time he's been asked to step up, he's stepped up, whether it's been on the boards in previous games and tonight, he hit a big corner 3 on the pass from Kyle Kuzma. So, he's just been, just a very impressive guy. For him to be getting the sporadic minutes that he has gotten over the season, from just getting DNPs to playing 19 minutes and playing in closing game situations. He's just been there when the Wizards have needed him. So I've been really impressed with Anthony Gill. Ish Smith, I tweeted earlier in the season that the Wizards should have got Ish Smith. He wasn't doing nothing over there in Charlotte. I knew, I thought Ish could do better than whatever Dinwiddie, etc. was doing at the time. I just felt like Ish would have did more, and he's been doing more. And tonight, it was just one of those games for him. 15.6 assists, 7 for 10 from the field. Not all the time. You're not going to get those 7 for 10 games. Sometimes those mid-range shots aren't going to fall for him. But when Ish is on, man, he's really good. When Ish is on, he's a really good player. And the Wizards needed all that. They needed everybody tonight, and they all stepped up. Gill, Ish Smith. Now, Daniel Gafford, I do want to talk about. He returned tonight. He had 5 points, had 5 rebounds, had 3 fouls. He picked those 3 up early. Was it in the first quarter when he picked it up?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he picked them up early, but I wasn't expecting anything from him too much in his first game back after being in protocols for, however long he was. What was your thoughts on Daniel?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Thomas Bryant too, but I thought he played pretty well. He had a nice dunk. Rui had a beautiful pass where he got in the pass and it was kind of like a no look a little bit. I thought he gave some good minutes for when he came in. He provided a post presence that we just did not have last night. He had 1 block, so just anybody over 6'10", we could use it compared to that Pacers game. But him coming back from the virus, I didn't expect too much. 6 points, 5 boards, and 1 block. And I thought he tried against LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge, of course, he got the cooking at one point. He had a couple and 1 jumpers. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. This is the Blazers, LaMarcus Aldridge. But I thought as a whole, Gill, Bryant, and Gaff, I thought they did a better job defending the paint tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely, and I'm not surprised they did. I'm sure they reacted the same as we did when they seen 70+ points in the paint. That's embarrassing. That cannot happen. So I'm not surprised they had a more concerted effort to protect that paint. And that was one of the keys coming into this game, was just be tough down there, man. Make it tough for the Nets to be successful down there, and they did that to the best of their abilities. I feel like Thomas Bryant was 5 for 6 from the field, 12 points in 14 minutes. Raul Neto gave 5 for 7, 12 points as well. Kind of a quiet game for KCP. 7 points, 3 for 7. KCP and Kuzma, some of the guys who are like some of the higher scoring guys on the Wizards, had quiet games, and that was what impressed me a lot too. The two guys who usually score majority of the points were quiet, and all the others stepped up, and that's the part of having a team, being a team. And the biggest thing in a team win is other guys stepping up. So impressive, man. I have little complaints tonight. The 50% from the three, I will never complain about that, because who knows when we'll see that again. So I mean, I loved it. I love the performance tonight.
Definitely, yeah, and I got to give props to Wes Unseld Jr. again, just making adjustments, getting guys to buy in, and yeah, I did bash the trade for Ish, for Vernon, Montrezl Harrell for Ish, and Vernon Carey in a second round pick. I thought we could have got more for Trez, but looking back at it, it's kind of what the Wizards needed. They just needed a point guard who could come in and change the pace. It's a huge difference from some of the point guard play that we got before. Vernon Carey, he's going to be probably a Capital City go-go guy, and the second round pick is something that you can use coming up in these years. And there is news about Porzingis coming back. Wes Unseld Jr. said in the press conference that Porzingis probably will be coming back after the All-Star break when we play against the Spurs. So I'm excited to see him play. I'm excited to see how he fits in with some of these guys. I think him, Kuz, Rui, and Deni, I think they can play well off each other. And he's going to be able to space the floor too, give guys more room to operate. Rui will get more time to more space to operate too in the post. And he's shooting the three better too. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see Porzingis back. I want to see really how just Brad, that makes me want Brad to come back, because I want to see how those two guys work together, because I think they can do good things. But, if they want to make a playing push, getting a guy like Porzingis as a reinforcement that's a pretty good reinforcement right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We saw Brad on the bench with his colorful clothes out there. He was out there supporting them. But before we get to player of the game and X Factor, this episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Have you tried the Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. My favorite flavor is cookies and cream. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy. They are marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar. They are a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors: yummy cinnamon churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. So good. These are going to be your new favorite. All Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Yes, Puffs included. 100% real chocolate. Low calorie, high protein. Replace your candy bars with these. They are better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories. Go to Built.com and scroll down to the macros chart. You'll be blown away. High protein, low cal, high fiber, and low carbs. Most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. Mint brownie, coconut almond, and new for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. If they think a flavor might be good, they'll make it. It will be delicious, and it will be good for you. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. All right, D, so who was your player of the game, and who was your X Factor?
Player of the game, I'll go with Rui. I think those 13 points in the fourth that was very important. I was very clutch. And, that's something that Wizards fans want to see from him. And Rui Hachimura, I feel like, is one of those guys Wizards fans view as one of the higher out of the three. I feel like they view him as the best, Rui. And we've seen that from seasons past. Everybody has loved Rui and loved his game, especially, back then when he dunked on AD, etc. So people definitely love Rui. I love Rui. And the 13 points in the fourth, Don't get no better than that, man. So I'm gonna give him player of the game. X Factor, I'm gonna go X Factors. I'm gonna say Corey Kispert and Deni. I'm gonna give both of my guys love. They both played big parts in this game and big parts in this win. I don't want to leave either one of them out. I think Corey, with his shooting, is good to see that, and that's what they need from him. 16 points plus 13, if you care about plus minus. Deni Avdija, those 2 steals. I mean, the lockdown defense, the coast to coast, the slam. It was a really good game for him. So Deni and Corey, X Factors. They both get co-X Factor for me.
Yeah, he didn't throw up the clamps, but it's all good. Yeah, I'm gonna go with player of the game. I would go with there's so many guys to choose from. But yeah, I definitely go with Rui. I do want to see him rebound the ball more, but I do want to give a quick credit to Thomas Bryant. You know, a lot of people didn't want to see him play anymore and, you know, get on the bench, but he's gonna have growing pains. He's just like, you know, Rui's having his growing pains, his up and downs. Corey Kispert's having his up and down games too. He's not shooting the ball well from the 3 overall, but he's starting to shoot better from the 3. And Deni's had some up and down games as well. That's just what happens with young guys. So, but the thing is with Thomas Bryant, like I was saying last night, they got to give him some touches. And I like that they gave him the ball a little bit earlier in the game, and he had a nice block on Andre Drummond. So I got to give him a little bit of credit. I thought he played a lot better because he looked like he was down in the dumps last game. He didn't play well last game, to be honest. But yeah, to get back on track, yeah, Rui gets to play the game. X Factor for me, I'm gonna give it to Anthony Gill. He doesn't get a lot of shine. We don't talk about him much. You know, he's the 15th man. I really wanted to give it to Ish, but I'm gonna give it to Anthony Gill. He had a huge block, and he had a tough take to the basket where he got to the line, and he had 2 huge threes.
Yeah, I think Ish was a close one too. Ish was close too. He definitely was hooping out there. It was Gil. It was close for me too. And that's what I said. This was like a team win. Like there was multiple guys who stepped up tonight in totality for the win. So Gil and Ish was definitely right next in line for the X Factor for me.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, so we'll look at the standings real quick before we head out. Of course, it's the All-Star break coming up, and we'll probably do a mid-season review, give out some grades sometime this week, so stay tuned for that episode. We're also going to get Nick from Locked On Mavericks on Tuesday just to give some more insight about Kristaps Porzingis. He does Locked On Mavericks. So just giving you guys a heads up. We're going to do a mailbag next week as well. Unfortunately, there's no Wizards in any contest. There's no Wizard in the three-point contest. There's no Wizard in the skills contest. There's no Wizards in the Rising Stars. No Wizards in anything. We usually at least have one guy. We had Bradley Beal in the All-Star game like 2 years in a row. So it's kind of weird this year. I thought we would at least get Gaff in the dunk contest, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, right now we're on the outside looking in of the play-in for the people who still are interested in that. We're 1 game behind the Atlanta Hawks, 27-31. The Hawks are 28-30, and the Charlotte Hornets are 29-31. They just lost tonight, so we're actually 1 game behind both of those teams right now.
Yeah, it's going to be close. You know, it's definitely going to be close. The Hornets, the Hawks. Because either one of those teams can get extremely hot because they have the talent. They have the guys. They have the star power. And, you know, LaMelo and then Miles Bridges as well. And then Trae Young, all those guys. So it'll be tough. You know, the Wizards definitely, they got to keep it up. You know, hopefully for their sake, you know, if they want to get in, they got to go streaking. They got to get, you know, on a streak. They can't lose, win, lose, win, win, lose, win. They gotta be consistent with the wins.
Yeah, the next couple of games, they got the Spurs, Cavs. Pistons are a lottery team. Hawks are below 500. Then we get the Pacers again on March the 6th. And then we could possibly get a revenge on the Clippers after that. And then we got the Lakers, who are pretty bad right now. Anthony Davis is out for the next month, I want to say. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe to Locked On Wizards on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Also, if you have any questions, just put them down below in the comment section for the mailbag episode. We'll probably be doing that for Monday. So just comment down below any questions you guys have. I just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So we'll do one more dub before the All-Star break.
Yes,
Thank you guys
sir.
for rocking with us. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.